Hi, I'm here today with Mac Lake, the Leadership Development Pastor at Seacoast Church in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina, one of my favorite spots, right there along the ocean. Mac, now you have the job of Leadership Development Pastor. I got a feeling a lot of people watching this are thinking, wow, that's a sweet job.
Yeah, it's a sweet job.
How do you get a job like that? I mean, how did you run? How did you become the Leadership Development Pastor at Seacoast?
Yeah, well, Doug, about 8 years ago, God really began to put a passion in my heart about leadership development. And I was having lunch with Greg Surratt, the senior pastor there one day, and we were just talking about this, and he explained to me what was going on at Seacoast, how Seacoast had gone multi-site, and there was just this need for developing more leaders. Yeah. And so my passion and his need, we sort of got together, and I ended up at Seacoast doing that.
Yeah. Well, if anybody's doing multi-site these days, they need more leaders.
They do, yeah.
They need more leaders in Sunday school and in small groups and in children's ministry and even parking lot ministry. I mean, so anytime you start a multi-site, you're talking about developing more leaders.
Exactly, and that's one of the benefits of multi-site, is it necessitates building leaders, and when you send and you start a new site and you're sending people, it leaves a vacuum in the other, in the original site, so you have to develop leaders there as well as developing leaders for the next site.
That's great. So we've probably got a lot of churches out there that have leadership development on their minds. Yes. Oh, yeah. And for those churches that want to create an environment of leadership development, a culture of leadership development, what would you say is the starting point for that? How do you get started in moving your church towards, hey, having an intentional process for developing leaders?
Yeah, Doug, that's it. I mean, that is the starting point, because most churches I talk to, you ask them, I look at it this way, churches have one of two approaches for leadership development. Okay, the first approach, churches are sticking people in a classroom and dispensing information and hoping that the people come out the other side as leaders.
Does that work?
And it doesn't work. And everybody's frustrated with that. Yeah. The second approach to leadership development is not to have an approach, not to do anything.
And I think a lot of people have been using that approach for a long time now.
A long time, yeah. And here's the truth. If you ask people that are doing that, they go, oh, our approach to leadership development is organic. You know? In other words, we make leaders by accident.
You know? We run into one every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think one of the greatest needs in a local church today is an intentional leadership development strategy. So it begins with a church identifying and saying, what is our leadership development strategy? And then developing a common language around that can make a huge difference for the church.
That common language is important because then everybody's talking the same terms and everybody understands what's being said. Right. So we get the common language going. What? Just give us one more. What might be the next thing after we have a desire to do it? We understand a common language. What might be the third thing we do?
Yeah, I think you have to get your key leaders, your executive leaders and your key leaders bought into that system, utilizing that system themselves, where they are experiencing reproducing leaders themselves. And when you get that, and then the rest of everybody else is watching that because your key leaders are modeling it, then it's going to spread quicker in your culture. But then there's one more thing I would throw in there as well, is be patient. Because you don't develop leaders fast. It is a slow process. If you're going to do it right, it's a slow process, and so you have to be patient.
Yeah, it is a process. There is no it's not instant. You can't add water and have leaders, can you? Yeah. If you want more tips on leadership development or developing a culture of leadership in your church, Mac writes a blog. It's really great, maclakeonline.com. You can check that out and you can gain more tips and insights. Mac, we appreciate you being here. And it's always fun talking to you.
Yeah, great talking with you too, Doug.